Man, I feel like Rakim. It's been a long time. 3 weeks to be exact since I came out with my last episode. And I want to thank each and every one of you for your patience throughout my absence because I was away for some pretty good reasons, and hopefully you'll understand. There was 1 week that I spent with family members down in San Diego over the 4th of July week. Prior to that, I spent an entire week golfing with friends, my sons, as well as my cousins. And right before that, I managed to catch 2 live World Cup games. So I was able to scratch a few things off of my bucket list. And I'm one of those individuals, right, who I like to be present. I'm not one of those individuals that's on his phone while I'm in your presence, right? I like to put my phone on silent, like to put it on do not disturb, because I really like to immerse myself in the moment when I am around the individuals who I love and value, particularly like in those things that are meant to bring me peace, right? So if I'm around family or if I'm on the golf course, you absolutely will not be able to get a hold of me because I am tuned out and I am tuned off. And so I thought it was going to be a little bass backwards, right? For me to, while I'm with my sons, to actually be distracted on my phone with work related to a podcast called Notes to My Sons, right? That seems kind of weird. I hope you understand that while I was actually with my sons, that it was more important to be with them than to actually be on social media following the traffic and the comments of a podcast dedicated to those sons. So that's the reason why I was away. That's the bad news. The good news is that the wheels kept on spinning. So we have a lot of thought-provoking, compelling subjects that we are going to be releasing over the next couple of months, a lot of episodes that I think are going to be extremely important. Today is no different. We have something that is going to be a really simple subject, but it's going to carry a whole lot of weight. Today's title of this episode is Sorry is So Damn Sorry, right? And here's the central idea. The central idea is that the word sorry has become too casual of a word to carry any weight of genuine remorse, right? If you're a person like myself with a strong personality, you're probably going to find yourself apologizing a lot, right? And so it's important that you know how to properly apologize, because while all relationships are not created equal, one of the things that I can guarantee you is that while we may not be the same, one thing that we have in common is this. At some point in your life, if you are part of a long-term committed relationship, you will fuck up. I promise you that. At some point in your relationship, you will do something that will hurt the feelings of the individual that you were with. And it is important that during that time that you know how to properly apologize, because the problem is far too often when we do something that is regrettable, we say we're sorry. The problem is that we say sorry for bumping into someone at the grocery store, right? We also say sorry when we're like late to work. We say it to our boss. We say we're sorry when we accidentally interrupt somebody, but we also use that exact same word when we betray the trust of our significant other, when we damage our relationships, when we break promises, or when we wound other human beings. That's a huge problem, because not all of our offenses are equal. And so since our offenses are not always equal, you should not use the same words that sound the same way for each of those offenses. So today we're going to be talking about something deeper than saying you're sorry. We're going to be talking about contrition. And if this is something that you're not familiar with, we're going to go into detail on exactly what is contrition. We're going to talk about and discuss what real remorse looks like, what it really looks like, and why most apologies fail. And then later on, I'm going to give you a practical framework on how you can apologize when your actions have genuinely hurt the people that you love. At some point, you will apologize, and the future of your relationships will depend on how you do it. Let's chop it up. Feel good, feel good. Man, when I hear somebody say sorry, I often wonder, man, I'm always thinking like, you're sorry for what? You're sorry because you got caught? You're sorry because there were consequences to your actions? You're sorry because somebody got angry with what you did? Or are you sorry because you finally understand the pain that you've caused another human being? Those are completely different things. And many of us were raised to believe that an apology is complete once the word sorry leaves your mouth. But let's be honest. Most apologies today sound like this. I'm sorry if you felt hurt. Sorry you took it that way. Sorry, but sorry, that's just how I am. And the truth of the matter is, none of these are apologies. They're just explanations. They're deflections. They're excuses. And sometimes, more times than not, actually, they're manipulations. Too often do we use the word sorry to end a conversation rather than begin a conversation about repairing a relationship. We want forgiveness all the time without accountability. We want reconciliation without transformation. We want the other person to stop being upset without us actually doing the work necessary to rebuild their trust. The reality is that a person can say that they are sorry 100 times over and actually never change. And you know that. And the reason why you know it is because you know that words alone are insufficient. And most people who just throw around the word sorry all the damn time, they do it because they don't want to be held accountable for their actions, and they don't actually want to do the hard work of repairing and healing the wounds that they've created. So what we're going to be talking about today is how do you actually heal the wounds that you've created, not with an apology, but through something called contrition. Contrition means the state or the act of being remorseful or penitent. And what that ultimately means is this deep feeling of sorrow, this deep feeling of regret, and this deep feeling of remorse that you feel when you have wronged someone or you have done something wrong. Contrition actually comes from the Latin word contritus, which means to break into pieces or to break that which is hardened. And in this case, the thing that is hardened is your hard ass head. And the thing that must be broke into pieces in order to show true contrition is your pride and your ego. People who are truly contrite, people who truly want to demonstrate contrition, must break their pride into pieces, must shatter their ego, must demonstrate a great deal of sorrow and a great deal of regret for the wrongs that they have committed. As a matter of fact, in Christianity, there are 3 different stages of contrition. The first one is that A, you must have sadness in your heart for what you have done. B, you must detest the wrong that you have committed and detest the person that you have become as a result of that wrongdoing. And then the last thing is you must resolve to never commit that sin again. You must create a plan. So contrition is very different than an actual apology. The difference between an apology and contrition, an apology is actually meant to end a conversation. Contrition is actually meant to begin repair. So one of the ideas that really stood out to me during my research on how to properly apologize is the distinction between regret and contrition. According to Dr. George Simon, many people experience deep regret over their actions. A lot of people feel regret, but very few, and I mean a very small amount of people actually experience what is considered genuine contrition. You see, Dr. Simon, he argues that regret alone rarely produces lasting change. True contrition, it involves a profound recognition of the harm caused and a commitment to becoming a different person. Here's the operative word here: through action. Becoming a different person through your actions. So let me make this practical for you, right? The differences between regret and contrition. You see, a man might get fired from his job because of misconduct, and the only regret that he feels is the regret of losing his paycheck. A man can get arrested and he regrets only losing his freedom. A husband can get caught cheating and only regrets getting discovered. And a friend can lie and get exposed and only regrets the consequences of that exposure. You see, regret often focuses on what happened to you. Contrition, on the other hand, focuses on what happened to them. Let me say that again. Regret focuses on your pain. Contrition focuses on the pain that you may have caused, and that is a huge fucking difference. Contrition requires empathy. It requires looking another human being in the eye and saying, I understand that my choices and my actions actually hurt you. Not, I hate how this has affected me, but what I hate is what I actually did to you. And that requires a different level of maturity. That requires actually breaking your hard ass head and crushing your pride and ego, to lay yourself low and truly demonstrate to another human being that not only are you remorseful for the pain that you have caused them and the wounds that you have created, but you have committed yourself and you have resolved to actually heal those wounds. I want to speak to just the men right now. And the reason why I want to speak to you is because for a lot of us, the way that we interpret our manhood actually acts as an obstacle in our ability to truly apologize to those that we love the most. And it acts as an obstacle in our ability to show true and genuine contrition. And here's the reason why. Because, see, when we were growing up, we were taught that being a man meant being tough, being resilient, and being able to fight through adversity. Many of us grew up hearing shit like, man, you just need to man up. You need to move on. You need to stop crying. You need to just get over it. And see, the problem with that is that we were taught that that is how you should solve problems. That is how you should handle adversity. That's how you should deal with things that are hurting you or harming you. You are supposed to just man up. So when we have actually hurt another human being, when we have hurt a loved one, while we are saying sorry, what's really going through our head is that manhood script. We're thinking to ourselves, yeah, I'm sorry, but they just need to fucking man up. They need to stop crying. They need to just get over it. And so our sorries are not genuine, because what we truly believe is that that person lacks the necessary and requisite toughness in order to get through life. And so we are actually not helping them in the repair of our wrongs. What we're actually doing is not holding ourselves accountable for it. And we are expecting that they get through life in the same warped manner that we've gotten through life, which is just manning the fuck up. And that's because nobody actually taught us how to repair harm. No one actually taught us what healthy repentance looks like. Nobody taught us that strength is not just taking responsibility for your successes, but it's also taking responsibility for your failures, and that a mature man doesn't run from accountability. A mature man runs towards it, and he doesn't hide behind pride. That a real man is willing to fucking crush and destroy his pride and his ego in an effort to repair and protect those that he loves and values the most. He confronts the consequences of his actions, because a real man realizes that character isn't revealed when you are right. True character is revealed through your behavior and your actions when you are wrong. An article by the Stanford Couples Counseling makes a really important point. They state that contrition isn't merely feeling remorse. It is demonstrating remorse through meaningful action. The article emphasizes that tears, repeated apologies, and expressions of regret they're just not enough. I'm going to repeat that for you. That tears, repeated apologies, and expressions of regret are not enough. Genuine contrition requires self examination, making amends, and more importantly, changing behavior. Contrition is visible. You can see it, you can measure it, you can observe it, not because of what a person says, but because of what they do. Real contrition asks, why the hell did I do this? Why did I do it? What defects in my character allowed this to happen? What damage did I cause? How can I repair what I believe is repairable? And what changes must I make so that this does not happen again? You see, contrition is work. It is hard work. It is humble work, but it is necessary work. And if you are truly remorseful for the things that you've done, then you are prepared to do the work. A friend used to tell me, never watch a man's mouth, always watch his feet. I will know whether or not you are truly sorry for what it is that you have done, not because of what you've said to me, not how many sorries, the million sorries that come out of your mouth, but by the actions that you have taken and the plan that you have outlined to repair my wounds. Remember, in the beginning of this episode, I promised you a framework for properly apologizing. Well, we're going to move away from the theoretical side of this whole conversation, and we're going to start to get a little practical. I'm going to actually give you an actual framework for if you're going to apologize for some genuine hurt that you've caused another human being, how do you exactly do it? So, step one, state exactly what you did wrong, plain and simple. Don't generalize, don't minimize, don't be vague. Simply say, I lied to you. I broke my promise to you. I betrayed your trust. I embarrassed you publicly. Name the offense. When you clearly identify the harm, you demonstrate that you have an understanding of what you've done wrong. Step two, take full ownership of what you've done. No excuses, no qualifications, no blame shifting. No, I'm sorry, but I was stressed. None of that. I'm sorry, but you made me angry. And don't give me any of that. I'm sorry, but everyone else was doing it. I need you to say, my actions were my responsibility. Period. Full stop. Step three, acknowledge the impact that your wrongdoing has caused, maybe not only them, but others as well. You see, this is where true empathy enters. You need to say things like, I understand that my actions may have hurt you. I understand that I may have damaged your trust. I understand that what I have said may have caused you some pain. You need to show that you've considered the consequences of your actions for them, not for yourself. Step four, you need to express genuine remorse. Notice that I didn't say sorry. I'm talking about expressing remorse. So instead of saying sorry, how about you try saying something like, I deeply regret hurting you. I feel ashamed for the choices that I made. I am saddened by the pain that I might have caused you. I am disappointed in myself for behaving that way. You see, those statements carry way more depth than just the casual word, I'm sorry. And truth be told, you may say all of that stuff and they may say, well, I didn't even hear an apology from you. You never said the words, I'm sorry. I have a simple philosophy. I can give you 1,000 sorries because they don't cost me a dime. They don't cost me my time. They don't cost me my energy. They don't cost me my money. So if somebody wants to actually hear the words, I'm sorry, give it to them. But in addition to the words, I'm sorry, you must be able to express some genuine remorse, because while that sorry may be satisfying to them today, it is not long lasting. Step five, you need to ask what repair looks like. Have you ever gone to the doctor and told the doctor, doctor, my foot hurts, and he starts checking your neck? Or you tell the doctor, oh, I got a pain in my stomach, and he starts looking at your eyes? No, because the doctor just doesn't assume what is wrong with you, and he does not create a plan of health based upon what he thinks. He creates a plan based upon your complaint, what it is that you say actually hurts. So don't walk into your apology with some plan on how you're going to repair things. You need to ask the person that you've wounded, what does repair actually look like? So many people skip this step. I need you to ask, what can I do to help repair the damage that I've done? What do you need from me right now? What would accountability on my part look like to you? And you may not be able to undo the hurt, but you can at least participate in the healing. Step 6. This is your action plan. You need to commit to a specific change. Remember, behavior is the evidence, not words. Words just simply are not enough. You need to state concrete actions about what you plan to do. Examples mean, I'm going to begin counseling. I'm going to stop lying. I'm going to communicate a lot better. I'm going to make some better financial decisions and make some changes financially. I'm going to start establishing maybe some healthier boundaries. You need to be specific because those specific commitments, they actually matter. Step 7, give them time. Just because you are ready to move on doesn't mean that their wounds have fully healed. This is actually the hardest step because you are entitled to apologize, but you are not entitled to immediate forgiveness. No one owes you immediate forgiveness for the things that you have done wrong. Trust, it rebuilds slowly. The injured person may need time. You need to respect that process. The apology is about their healing. It's not about your comfort. So we've discussed the proper way to apologize. Now I'd like to quickly review what we consider apology killers, right? These are the things that you can say while you're apologizing to someone that will bring your conversation to a grinding halt. As a matter of fact, if you state any of these things while you're trying to apologize to someone, you can actually push your relationship with them backwards. So here are a few of those phrases. Never say, when you're apologizing to someone, I'm sorry if you were offended, or I am sorry that you felt that way or that you feel that way. The reason why is because you're shifting blame away from yourself. And you're saying that the reason why we are unable to advance in our relationship is because you are offended or you have feelings that are preventing us from moving forward. So again, you're putting the blame on them. Do me a favor, never say it. Another thing that people often say, and you need to avoid it, is everybody makes mistakes. You are trying to minimize what it is that you've done, and you are trying to water down the impact of your offense by stating that other people do it. Now, the problem with that is if you do what other people do, then you are basically stating to me that I can expect from you what everybody else does. And if I'm expecting from you what I can expect from everyone else, then why the hell am I with you? I might as well just be with everybody else. Here's a simple test. After your apology, I want you to ask yourself, if you removed all of your words, would your actions still communicate remorse and repentance? That's the test, because genuine contrition is ultimately behavioral. And as both sources that I've used today emphasize, lasting change is demonstrated through consistent action, ongoing accountability, and a sincere effort to make amends, not merely through emotional expressions or repeated I'm sorries. So remember, anybody can say sorry. Children, they say sorry all the damn time. Cowards say sorry. And manipulators use the word sorry as a tool against those that they have wounded to avoid accountability. But the question is, what happens after the words, right? When you've hurt another human being, don't reach for the quickest apology. I need you to reach for accountability. I need you to reach for humility. I need you to reach for empathy. I need you to reach for contrition, because real apologies are not measured by what comes out of your mouth. Real apologies are measured by the changes that you've made in your life afterwards. Remember this, a sincere apology is not a request for forgiveness. It is a commitment to self-transformation. And when your behavior matches your words, people just don't hear an apology. They actually experience it. Thank you for joining me on another great episode of Notes to the Sun. I'm your host, KGB. Until next episode, keep growing, keep learning, keep shining like the suns that you are. Take care.